Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Hannah. Thank you for watching. I am Hannah. I'm a mom and a knitter, and I live in North Carolina with my husband and our son. And yeah, I love talking about knitting on YouTube. So if you're new here, thank you for joining. Don't forget to subscribe if you like what I'm talking about. Today I actually have a special episode where I'll be talking about 3 local yarn shops in my area. I'll add some chapters so you can skip ahead if you're thinking about visiting or you want a refresher on what I said. If you're just really interested in that yarn shop. So I'll add those. The first one is going to be Hillsborough Yarn Shop, then Great Yarns, and lastly Freeman's Creative. The inspiration is basically a yarn shop in North Carolina that I had visited previously, closed, and it was sad. It was in the mountains, and they closed their physical store. They're still going to sell some of their yarns online until they sell out. And so yeah, it was kind of sad. I don't know, they kind of talked about how it was hard to sell yarn right now and just hard being a small business, I guess. And anyway, I just felt sad, and so I wanted to highlight some of the local yarn shops in my area and give you a chance to highlight yours. So in the comments below, if you could write your favorite yarn shop or a yarn shop that you visited that you liked, what city it was in. So maybe someone who reads the comments, they might see one they like, something like that. Okay, so I am going to share the general feel of the shop, the yarns that they carry, anything that might make them special, and just what I really like about each of the shops. They're really unique, and they kind of have a different sort of following in that each one has like a different sort of following in the area. So I know I'm really lucky to have 3 within, pretty close distance to where I live. And so yeah, I want to highlight these special shops, and I'll start with the one that I go to the least often. So that is Hillsborough Yarn Shop. I had to write some notes because I don't go that often. I went with Ollie maybe in February to get a specific yarn I know I needed, but I had only been a few times before that. So it is out of the way a little bit for us, but definitely worth the visit. It's right by a co-op grocery store that has a hot bar. That is good. It's right by a river walk. There's a coffee shop and a bookstore. It's in this cute little downtown area. It's a walkable, so you could spend the whole day in downtown Hillsborough and just shop for yarn, take a walk, go to a playground. Yeah, it's like the perfect day, I think. Anyway, so the yarn shop itself, I think they have kind of like the widest expanse of yarn for fine knitting. So a lot of their yarn is focused on European knitting trends. There's a lot of color work, a lot of cables, but a lot of that fine knitting that you would see, like those intricately cabled jumpers, things like that. So there are yarns there that are hard to find in this area. They have Jamison's, which I've never seen in store. They have Sandisgarn, they have Issier, so those are harder to find in person here. I actually hadn't seen those before in person until I went to this shop. So that's exciting for us. Let's see, what else do they have? It's super cozy, very cute, sort of like a alleyway. So it's kind of small at the front, and you just walk all the way back. And they usually have like 1 or 2 yards out, and then you can ask for more if you need like 5 skeins or something, because it is kind of like smaller, on the smaller side. But there's just so many colors of yarn. Like I would say if you're looking for color work, this is the shop to go to. The yarn that I go there for is definitely to see the Brooklyn tweed selection. They have Arbor, which is like the best yarn I've ever used for color work. I love it. I would use it all the time if I could. So yeah, that is something special about this yarn shop. I know they have classes. I don't know if they have knit nights. I would assume they do. They seem to be very invested in that. I haven't been to the classes, but yeah, it was just an enjoyable visit when we went the last time. Parking on the street. Yeah, it's a great shop to go to. And yeah, if you need to like make a day trip, there's lots to do there. You could just do it all. I'll put some pictures in. I need to go back and see if there was any that like didn't have Ollie just like grinning in them. Any that were I have the actual yarn shop, I can't remember. But they have books. They have like the fine knitting books. They have like Rowan and Line magazine. They have a lot of things that I don't know because I'm not totally in that world of like really intricate yeah, it's not like I feel like I'm kind of in the middle, and so I didn't really know a lot of the things there, but I can definitely appreciate them because they were all beautiful. But yeah, they have a ton of books. I know their books are on sale right now. So if you're watching this in June, they have a lot of books on sale right now. You can't shop their yarn online, but you can call them and ask them what they have and then make a purchase like through the phone or something, but they don't actually have all their stock yarn online. They do have Instagram though, and they're very active on that. Okay, now to the second shop. This is Great Yarns. This is like the sentimental one for me because I went here when I first started knitting again with my college roommate. It was close to our college campus, sort of on the edge of downtown Raleigh. So yeah, also it's right by a Whole Foods. It's right next to Whole Foods, and so we definitely went and got yarn and then went and got dinner at Whole Foods and spent all our college money on yarn and hot bar food. So good times, good memories. The owner is always in there like every time we go. She's so kind, and now that I am like going with my my son instead of like my college roommate, that has also been nice because she's very welcoming of Ollie or of like my nephew Micah. There's always like a knitting group in there, and they are so kind and welcoming. They always like ask the boys, you know, what's your favorite yarn and what are they gonna pick out? They just love talking to them, and the boys are getting so funny now where they're like, ooh, and they say that's, you know, yarn soft or whatever. And so it's very fun. They're very welcoming of kiddos, which is really nice because stay-at-home mom life, you know, I bring my kids everywhere. Also, this is not a negative thing. This is just a descriptor. This shop is a little more like old school in the style of like pattern books and things like that they have. The yarn itself is not like that. They have yarns for everyone, which is one of the things I really like about it. They have like acrylic, they have wool, they have superwash, non-superwash, all kinds of yarns for all kinds of budgets, and I really appreciate that. Same for their notions. They have a lot of different kinds of notions. But yeah, they have my favorite thing to go look at there is the Kelborn woolen stock that they have, because they tend to have all of it, like all of the lines of Kelborn woolen. So I'm a big Kelborn woolens fan. I think this is where I got my first skein of Scout, which I have, you know, been buying ever since. But they have all of the other ones too that, you know, I don't always get to see. I just like see them online. But they have the other usuals too. I'm just going to read them off because I don't want to forget. They have Amano, Fiberco, Barocco, Katya, Earth, Rowan, all of those things. They just started carrying Isir and Staniscarn as well, and so I really want some Staniscarn line in black. I almost bought it the other night, and then I was like, no, it's okay. I don't really need it, and I could just go look at the store and look at it for a while. But they do free shipping over $30. So if you don't have a local yarn shop near you, you could support my local yarn shop, because everyone knows you're gonna spend more than $30. I mean, maybe not, but I don't know what you would buy. Like, yeah, yarn for a child, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense since I have a lot of, you know, followers with kids. But anyway, you could basically get free shipping on any order. So Great Yarns. I'll put all of their info, like their websites. I guess I'll put their websites in here in the comments. I don't know that Great Yarns is as active on Instagram as the other shops, but they do have knit nights, and they always look super full, and lots of range of age and projects and things like that. So that's fun to see as well. I know they also have classes there, and they're a little bit more beginner friendly than at Hillsborough Yarn Shop might be. They also have trunk shows and just like a fun community, it looks like, that Pam has built at her yarn shop. Okay, they also have a lot of sales, so that's good too. The last one is the shop that I go to the most often. It is Freeman's Creative in Durham. And yeah, it's just a really welcoming shop. We have just enjoyed going I just remember like whenever, I don't remember how long it's been open. Probably more than 5 years. Maybe 5 years? I can't remember. I think they just had their anniversary. Maybe 5 years, 6 years. But I remember when it was opening, my sister was like, I think there's a new yarn shop coming, and I think it's gonna be really good. I've started following them online, and you know, we're just like, oh, I wonder what it's gonna be like. And so we went and visited like right when they opened, and yeah, we've been going ever since. But across the street is a coffee shop you can get churros at, and then you can go sit by there's a little stream near the shop, next to the shop. You can go sit at, eat your churros, and then go shopping. Who wouldn't want to do that? So yeah, we really like this one. It's fun for the boys as well, because they have like things that little guys can play with. They've started carrying a lot more sort of arts stuff. So this one it has been a yarn shop and fabric shop traditionally. This one has fabric, the other two don't. But recently, they have been ordering some more awesome, like fun, not necessarily kid-friendly, but just like more crafty things. So they have different paints or different hobby things like embroidery kits, just fun stuff like that. So that is very cool. If you bring someone with you who's not a knitter, they can also find like block printing kits or things like that. They also have a large container of felt balls, and yeah, Ollie's a big fan. He gets a new one or two every time we go for his little collection. He has a lot of them now because he gets a couple every time, but yeah, we really like this one. Very, very fun. For their actual yarns, I like going to look at their collection of Little Fox yarns. That Amy from Little Fox is sort of local. She's in Richmond, Virginia, which is only like maybe 2 hours from here. And so getting to see her yarn in person is amazing because it is beautiful. And they also have like pretty much every yarn brand you could want. They have hand dyed, they have commercial-ish yarn. So they have Malabrigo, Kelburn Woolen, Scout, BC Yarn, Lang, Fiber Co, Mirasol, Queensland, and Queen City Yarn, which is also local to Charlotte, which is also about 2 hours from here, but in North Carolina. And yeah, they don't have a storefront, so it's nice to be able to see it in person. And we met her at the Yarn Expo that was here. She was so kind. So anyway, yes, Freeman's has a lot of yarn, and they have wonderful neighbors that they have built a community with, and so that's really nice to see. Amelia is super active on the Instagram that they have, and Molly as well. I see her on there too. So yes, you should definitely go. And if you go, the crazy thing is that they have a few of my samples hanging in the shop, which is just so kind, and they've just been really welcoming to me as a new designer in the area. So love to them, love to all these yarn shops. I hope you stick around forever. Yeah, it's just, I know I've said before, like I am not buying yarn right now because I'm trying to work through the yarn in my stash, but I want to do other things to support local yarn shops since I'm not in a place to buy a lot of yarn right now. And this is something I can do that hopefully will help a little bit. But yeah, it costs nothing to share posts or direct your friends to a yarn shop, or I don't know, just say, hey, you're doing a great job and we love your shop, and just go in and visit and buy some felt balls for your child. Anyway, this concludes my sort of yarn tour of where I live. I truly would love to hear about your local yarn shops or what your experience has been like. If you don't have a yarn shop near you, you're welcome to take this virtual tour of mine and shop their yarns online or come visit. But yeah, don't forget to leave your favorite yarn shop, and happy knitting. See you later.